The emergency session of the Galactic Council began with the sound of alarms echoing through the great chamber. Ambassador Quindal stood at the emergency podium, his usually calm blue face showing panic that had not been seen in the halls of power for over 1,000 years. "Fellow council members," he announced, his voice shaking, "the Void Seekers have returned. 7 colony worlds have gone silent in the past 48 hours. Our combined fleets report complete destruction of the outer defense systems." The chamber erupted in shocked voices. The Void Seekers were raiders from outside the galaxy, who appeared every few centuries to attack and destroy entire civilizations. Each time they came, they were stronger and better equipped than before. Senator Velkun of the Peaceful Collective stood up, her translucent wings fluttering with terror. "How is this possible? Our defense systems were designed to handle any threat. We have maintained peace for 800 years. The peace is over," announced Admiral Ralseth as he entered the chamber. His military uniform was torn and dirty from the battle he had just escaped. "The Seekers have technology we have never seen before. They destroyed our main battle fleet like we were children playing with toys." General Thaxmore of the Hegemony War Council stood up angrily. "Admiral, surely our automated defense systems can handle these primitives. We have weapons that can destroy planets." "General, our automated systems failed completely," Admiral Ralseth replied. "The Seekers adapted to every weapon we used within minutes. Our ships are designed for peaceful missions with defensive capabilities added as an afterthought. Their ships are built for nothing but war." The horrible truth settled over the chamber like a cold shadow. Galactic civilization had spent so many centuries in peace that they had forgotten how to fight. Their military was more like a police force designed to handle small disputes between civilized species. They had no experience with real warfare against enemies who wanted to destroy everything they had built. "What about our ground forces?" asked Minister Draktha. "We have no ground forces," Admiral Ralseth admitted. "Most of our species have not seen combat in hundreds of years. Our soldiers are trained to use automated systems and follow careful procedures. When the systems fail and the procedures do not work, they do not know what to do." The chamber fell silent as everyone realized they were facing extinction. Then someone remembered the reports from the Sol system. "What about the humans?" asked Senator Velkun quietly. "The Deathworld species?" General Thaxmore responded with disgust. "They are quarantined in their system. Besides, they have no faster-than-light travel and their weapons are primitive. But they have experience with warfare," Quindal said thoughtfully. "Commander Zethka's reports indicate that humans have been fighting wars on their Deathworld for thousands of years. They know how to combat enemies who want to destroy them." The debate that followed was desperate and bitter. Some council members wanted to maintain the quarantine of humanity, even if it meant galactic civilization would be destroyed. Others argued that the humans might be their only hope for survival. Finally, Admiral Ralseth made the decision that would save the galaxy. "I am requesting emergency assistance from Earth. We need military advisors who understand warfare. The humans are the only species we know who have recent experience with total war." On Earth, President Elizabeth Kane received the most important phone call in human history. The message was simple but shocking. The galaxy was under attack by an enemy that could destroy planets, and they were asking humanity for help. Within 6 hours, General Marcus Wade and Colonel Samantha Price were aboard an alien transport ship, heading for the front lines. Neither of them had ever imagined they would be advising advanced alien civilizations on military tactics, but the situation was too desperate for anyone to worry about how strange it seemed. General Wade, Admiral Ralseth explained during the trip, "Our forces are trained to use automated systems and follow standard procedures. When those systems fail, our people do not know how to continue fighting." "Admiral," General Wade replied, "human military training is based on the assumption that everything will go wrong at the worst possible time. We train our people to think independently and adapt to changing situations. That is how you survive in warfare." When they reached the battle zone, the human advisors saw the problem immediately. The alien military fought like a computer program. They had detailed plans for every situation they could imagine. But when the Void Seekers did something unexpected, the alien forces stopped working. Colonel Price watched alien soldiers standing motionless beside their broken equipment. "Admiral, why are your troops not fighting? Their weapons may be damaged, but they still have hands and feet." "Colonel, their standard operating procedures do not cover combat without functional equipment," Admiral Ralseth explained. They are waiting for new orders from command. That will get them killed, General Wade said bluntly. In human warfare, soldiers are trained to keep fighting even when everything goes wrong. When your radio breaks, you find another way to communicate. When your weapon jams, you fix it or find another weapon. When your plan fails, you make a new plan. The first test of human military thinking came when Lieutenant Commander Tony Martinez led a boarding action to retake a captured space station. The alien crew watched in amazement as Martinez and his small team of mixed human and alien volunteers succeeded where entire fleets had failed. How did you know the station's defense grid would fail if you overloaded the power couplers? Asked the alien tactical officer. I did not know, Martinez replied. But I knew that overloading power systems usually breaks things. When you are fighting for your life, you try everything that might work and hope something succeeds. The alien officer stared at him. You attacked without knowing if your plan would work? Officer, no plan survives contact with the enemy, Martinez explained. Human tactics are based on making the best guess you can, then adapting as the situation changes. We call it improvisation. The real breakthrough came when Captain Nicole Rodriguez took command of a mixed squadron of human and alien pilots. The alien pilots had been trained to fly in careful formations following precise procedures. Rodriguez taught them to fight like humans. Forget your formation flying, she told them over the radio. When someone shoots at you, move. When you see a target, shoot it. When your wingman is in trouble, help him. Do not wait for orders from command. The results shocked everyone. Rodriguez's squadron achieved kill ratios that seemed impossible to galactic military experts. More importantly, they did it while taking fewer casualties than the alien formations that followed strict procedures. Captain Rodriguez asked the alien wing commander, how do your pilots make tactical decisions so quickly? Our pilots require at least 30 seconds to consult their tactical computers before engaging targets. Commander, 30 seconds gets you killed in a dogfight. Rodriguez replied. Human pilots are trained to assess situations and make decisions in under 2 seconds. We call it combat instincts. But how do you know your decisions are correct? Rodriguez smiled. We do not know. We make the best decision we can with the information we have, then deal with the consequences. Sometimes we are wrong, but being wrong quickly is better than being right too late. The human approach to warfare spread through the galactic forces like wildfire. Alien soldiers learned to think for themselves instead of waiting for orders. Alien commanders learned to give their troops general objectives instead of detailed procedures. Most importantly, they learned that losing some battles was acceptable, if it meant winning the war. The turning point came when General Wade convinced Admiral Ralseth to attempt what humans called a strategic retreat. Admiral, your forces are trying to defend every position, Wade explained. That spreads your strength too thin. Let the Seekers capture some empty systems while you concentrate your forces to defend the important worlds. General, we cannot abandon our colonies, Admiral Ralseth protested. You are not abandoning them, Wade replied. You are trading space for time. Make the enemy work for every system they take. Meanwhile, you build up strength for a counterattack that will destroy them completely. The strategy worked perfectly. The Void Seekers found themselves overextended and vulnerable to the concentrated alien counterattack. For the first time in the war, galactic forces won a decisive victory. Combat medic Ross Clark revolutionized galactic medicine by introducing concepts that seemed impossible to alien healers. When he performed battlefield surgery to save wounded alien soldiers, the entire medical community was forced to rewrite their understanding of what medicine could accomplish. Dr. Clark asked the chief medical officer, how can you perform complex surgery while explosions are happening around us? Doctor, wounded soldiers die if you do not help them immediately, Clark replied while working on a patient. You learn to focus on what you can control and ignore what you cannot control. We call it working under pressure. The war lasted 6 more months, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. With human tactical advice and training, galactic forces adapted from a peaceful police force into an effective military. The Void Seekers found themselves facing an enemy that could think independently, adapt to changing situations. The medical center on Serenitas Prime looked like a palace made of crystal and light. Dr. Maya Patel walked through corridors that glowed with soft colors, following her alien guide to what they called an emergency treatment facility. After 6 months of preparation, she was finally seeing how galactic medicine worked. Dr. Patel, said her guide, a graceful being named Healer Siltha, we are very excited to learn from your experience with emergency medicine. Though we must admit we do not understand what you mean by emergency medicine. Maya looked around the pristine medical center. Everything was white and silver, perfectly clean and completely quiet. Where are your trauma bays? Your operating rooms? Your intensive care units? Healer Siltha's large green eyes showed confusion. I do not understand these terms. What is trauma? What is intensive care? Trauma is when someone gets badly hurt, Maya explained, like in an accident or during severe illness. Intensive care is where we treat people who might die if we do not help them immediately. The alien healer stopped walking. Dr. Patel, beings on our world do not get badly hurt. Our environment is completely safe. The most serious medical issue we have ever treated is what you might call a mild headache or slight fatigue. Maya stared at the alien. What about broken bones, heart attacks, severe bleeding, cancer, infections? These words are not familiar to me, Siltha replied. Could you explain what they mean? For the next 4 hours, Maya tried to explain human medicine to beings who had never seen real injury or disease. When she showed them videos of surgical procedures from Earth, 3 alien healers had to leave the room. When she described treating gunshot wounds, car accident victims, and natural disaster casualties, Healer Siltha began shaking. Dr. Patel, Siltha whispered, how do you remain sane while dealing with such horrible suffering every day? It is not horrible, Maya replied, genuinely confused. It is just medicine. Helping people who are hurt or sick is what doctors do. How can your species advance medically if you never face serious challenges? We advanced by eliminating the challenges, Siltha explained. We made our world safe so our people would never be hurt. We developed technology to prevent all diseases. We created an environment where medical emergencies cannot happen. Maya realized she was seeing the fundamental difference between human and galactic civilization. Humans had learned to fix problems. Aliens had learned to avoid problems. Both approaches worked, but they created very different kinds of people. Meanwhile, on Earth, alien observer Kethrin of the Aquatic Sovereignty was experiencing the weather that humans called normal. The first thunderstorm of his visit sent him into a panic that took hours to resolve. Meteorologist Carl Henderson tried to calm the terrified alien as lightning flashed outside his office windows. Kethrin, this is just a regular spring storm. The lightning cannot hurt us inside the building. Cannot hurt us? Kethrin's translated voice was high with fear. Those energy discharges carry enough power to vaporize my entire body. How can you sit calmly while weapons of mass destruction explode in the sky above us? Carl looked outside at what seemed like a perfectly normal thunderstorm. They are not weapons. Lightning is just electricity created by the storm clouds. It happens millions of times every day all over the planet. Most of it never hits anything important. Millions of times every day? Kethrin could barely speak. Your planet is under constant bombardment by energy weapons, and you consider this normal? Kethrin, let me show you something. Carl pulled up weather data on his computer. This storm will probably produce about 50 lightning strikes per minute. Tomorrow we are expecting a bigger storm that might have 200 strikes per minute. Next month is tornado season, when rotating storms can produce winds over 200 miles per hour. The alien observer stared at the weather predictions like they were military intelligence about incoming attacks. How does your species survive this constant assault from your atmosphere? We have buildings designed to handle storms, Carl explained. We have warning systems to tell people when dangerous weather is coming. We have emergency procedures and backup plans. Humans have been dealing with weather for thousands of years. We are good at it now, Kethrin's report to the Galactic Council that night painted a picture of a species so adapted to constant danger that they treated planet-killing storms as minor inconveniences. The breakthrough moment came 2 weeks later when a solar flare disrupted communications between Earth and the alien research fleet. While the aliens panicked about what they saw as a stellar attack, retired astronaut Helen Shaw and engineer Bobby Kim worked calmly with mission control to restore contact. Houston, this is the orbital platform, Helen reported over the backup communication system. We are reading elevated radiation levels from the solar event, but nothing our shielding cannot handle. Switching to secondary power systems and continuing normal operations. Commander Zethka listened to this report with growing amazement. The humans were experiencing radiation levels that would kill most galactic species. and they spoke about it like a minor technical problem. "Ms. Shaw," he called over the emergency channel, "are you not concerned about the stellar radiation? Our ships have retreated to minimum safe distance." "Commander, we get solar flares pretty regularly," Helen replied. "Our equipment is designed to handle them. This is actually a fairly small one. We had a much bigger flare last year that knocked out some satellites, but even that was not really dangerous if you know how to prepare for it." Bobby Kim joined the conversation from the engineering section. "Commander, would you like us to help you upgrade your shielding systems? Human space technology is built to handle solar radiation, cosmic rays, and micrometeorite impacts. We could share our designs with you." The casual offer to help improve alien technology that was centuries more advanced than Earth's left Zethka speechless. These humans thought their primitive but incredibly robust systems were good enough to improve galactic engineering. Dr. Velthar had been monitoring the entire exchange. "Commander, I believe we need to completely revise our understanding of this species. They do not just survive their death world. They have become so adapted to constant danger that they can function normally in conditions that would kill us." The real shock came when the aliens learned about human space exploration. Captain Lisa Chang gave them a tour of the International Space Station, showing them how humans lived and worked in the vacuum of space with nothing but thin metal walls protecting them from death. "This is our main living module," Lisa explained, tapping on the wall that was only a few inches thick. "It keeps our air in and space out. We have been living up here continuously for over 20 years. 20 years? Dr. Velthar gasped. "You have maintained a permanent presence in this death environment for 20 years? "Oh, much longer than that if you count all our space stations," Lisa replied. "Humans have been living in space on and off for almost 70 years. We have had people on our moon, sent robotic explorers to other planets, and we are planning missions to Mars." The aliens could not believe what they were hearing. Most galactic species only went into space inside massive, heavily shielded vessels with multiple backup systems. Humans built tiny metal cans and lived in them like they were comfortable homes. "Lisa," Commander Zethka asked carefully, "do your people understand that space is trying to kill you every second you are out here?" Lisa laughed. "Of course we do. That is why we are so careful about our equipment and procedures. But space is not really trying to kill us any more than Earth is. It is just an environment with specific challenges. Once you understand the challenges, you can build systems to handle them." The conversation continued for hours, with the humans casually describing achievements that the aliens considered impossibly dangerous. When Lisa mentioned that humans regularly went outside their space station in nothing but pressure suits to repair equipment, 3 members of the alien crew had to leave the bridge. That night, Commander Zethka sent a priority message to the Galactic Council that would change everything. "Council Command, this is Zethka reporting from Sol System. After extensive observation, I can confirm that humans are not just survivors of a Class 13 death world. They are a species that has been forged by constant danger into something we have never seen before. They possess capabilities that our most advanced civilizations lack. They can make critical decisions under pressure without committee approval. They can function normally in environments that would kill us. They can adapt quickly to new dangers and find solutions to problems we would consider unsolvable. Most importantly, they do all of this while maintaining peaceful, cooperative attitudes. Sir, I believe humanity represents the next step in intelligent evolution. They have combined the wisdom of civilization with the strength that comes from surviving in hell. If we can learn from them without being destroyed by our own fears, they could help us become something greater than we ever imagined." The response from Galactic Command was immediate and chilling. "Commander Zethka, your observations are noted. However, the Defense Council has voted to classify humanity as a potential threat to galactic security. You are ordered to maintain quarantine of the Sol system." The great dome of the Galactic Council chambers had seen many historic moments, but nothing like this. Ambassador Quindal of the Centauri Republic stood at the center podium, holding a data pad that contained information no one wanted to believe. Around him, representatives from 47 different worlds waited in worried silence. "Fellow council members," Quindal began, his voice shaking slightly. 3 days ago, we received a report from Commander Zethka in the Sol system. What he found there challenges everything we know about intelligent life. The holographic display above the chamber showed Earth in all its terrifying beauty. Blue oceans filled with massive predators, continents covered in dense forests where countless creatures hunted each other, and swirling white clouds that hid storms powerful enough to destroy cities. This planet, which the native species calls Earth, shows conditions that should make intelligent life impossible. Yet not only do these humans exist, they thrive in numbers approaching 8 billion individuals. Shocked gasps filled the chamber. Most civilized worlds supported populations of a few million at most, carefully managed to avoid any stress on their peaceful environments. Senator Velkun of the Peaceful Collective stood up, her translucent wings fluttering with anxiety. Ambassador Quindal, surely there has been some mistake. Our scientists have proven that intelligence can only develop in stable, safe environments. What you describe sounds like a primitive species barely surviving. That is what we thought too, Quindal replied. He activated another display showing human cities from orbit. These images show massive settlements containing millions of humans each. They have covered their planet with roads, buildings, and industrial centers. They have machines flying through their atmosphere and floating on their deadly oceans. The display changed to show the International Space Station and the hundreds of satellites surrounding Earth. They have not only mastered their Deathworld, they have expanded into the vacuum of space around it. Without any contact with galactic civilization, they built their own space technology. Minister Draktha of the Silicon Hegemony rose from his crystalline seat. If this species is as dangerous as their world suggests, we should quarantine their system immediately. They could be a threat to all peaceful civilizations. Or, interrupted General Kethmore of the Draconian Empire, they could be exactly what our military forces need. Soldiers who grew up on a death world would be unstoppable in battle. The argument that followed shook the chamber. For the first time in centuries, the Peaceful Council faced a problem they could not solve with careful discussion and compromise. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Amanda Foster stood in her laboratory at the Marine Biology Institute, trying to explain concepts that seemed impossible to the alien observers. Through her computer screen, she could see Commander Zethka and his science team aboard their ship. Their expressions of horror grew worse with every word she spoke. "So you swim in water with these predators?" Dr. Velthar asked, his 6 arms trembling as he looked at the images of great white sharks on Amanda's screen. "Well, shark attacks are actually very rare," Amanda explained, not understanding why this was so frightening to the aliens. "Humans swim in the ocean all the time. Millions of people do it every day for fun." Her research partner, Dr. Kevin Murphy, joined the conversation from his office in Alaska. "Amanda's right. I spend most of my time in boats on the ocean studying whales. Sure, the water is cold enough to kill you in minutes if you fall in without protection, but we have good safety equipment." The aliens stared in shock. Kevin had just casually mentioned that his planet's oceans were cold enough to kill him, then dismissed this as a minor problem solved with better clothes. "Dr. Murphy," Commander Zethka said carefully, "on civilized worlds we have eliminated such dangers. Our oceans are maintained at comfortable temperatures and we removed all dangerous creatures thousands of years ago." Amanda and Kevin looked at each other in surprise. "You eliminated entire species just because they were dangerous?" Amanda asked. "But they are part of the ecosystem. Without predators, the whole food chain would collapse." "Food chain?" Dr. Velthar whispered. "You mean creatures on your world eat other creatures?" "Well, yes," Kevin replied, confused by the question. "That is how nature works. Plants get energy from the sun. Herbivores eat plants, carnivores eat herbivores. Humans are omnivores, so we eat both plants and animals." The silence from the alien ship lasted so long that Amanda wondered if the communication link had failed. Finally, Commander Zethka spoke again. "Dr. Foster, Dr. Murphy, we need to understand this better. On our worlds, all intelligent species stopped consuming other living things millions of years ago. We create all our nutrition artificially. The idea of eating another creature is considered primitive and savage." Amanda realized they had stumbled into a major cultural difference. "Commander, I think we need to have a much longer conversation about how our worlds work. Maybe we should set up a formal meeting with our governments." Within hours, the news of alien contact spread around Earth. President Elizabeth Kane called an emergency session of the United Nations. World leaders gathered in New York to discuss how humanity should respond to the galaxy that saw them as terrifying monsters. "Ladies and gentlemen," President Kane addressed the assembly, "we have learned that we are not alone in the universe. We have also learned that the galaxy considers our world to be impossibly dangerous. What seems normal to us is apparently horrifying to other species. Secretary General Pierre Dubois stood up to speak. Madam President, our scientists have been talking to the alien researchers. It appears that most galactic civilizations live on worlds where dangerous weather, predators, and diseases were eliminated long ago. They see Earth as what they call a death world. What exactly does that mean? Asked Prime Minister Chen Wei of the Asian Federation. Dr. Amanda Foster had been invited to explain the situation. Prime Minister, imagine if you lived your entire life in a perfectly controlled environment. No storms, no dangerous animals, no diseases, no natural disasters. Then imagine someone told you about a world with hurricanes, earthquakes, sharks, lions, poisonous snakes, and deadly viruses. That is how the galaxy sees Earth. The assembly fell quiet as the implications sank in. Everything that made humans strong and adaptable was exactly what made them terrifying to peaceful alien civilizations. Captain Jake Morrison, who had become Earth's unofficial first ambassador, joined the meeting by video link from the space station. I have been talking to Commander Zethka for 2 days now. Every time I mention something normal about Earth, his crew gets more worried. When I told them about hurricanes, they thought I was describing a planet-killing weapon. When I mentioned that humans live in areas with active volcanoes, they asked if we were all insane. So what do they want from us? Asked President Kane. That is the problem, Jake replied. They cannot agree. Some want to help us evacuate Earth because they think we are trapped on a hell world. Others want to quarantine us because they think we are too dangerous. A few want to recruit us as soldiers because they think growing up on a death world makes us natural warriors. Dr. Kevin Murphy joined the video call from Alaska. There is something else. Their science officer, Dr. Velthar, asked me about human medicine. When I told him about surgery, trauma care, and emergency medicine, he nearly fainted. On their worlds, the worst medical emergency is equivalent to a human getting a small cut. The world leaders looked at each other in growing understanding. Humanity was not just different from galactic civilization. They were so different that they might not be able to coexist. What are our options? Asked President Kane. Ambassador Maria Santos, who had been appointed to head Earth's diplomatic team, spoke up. We have 3 choices. We can try to prove we are peaceful despite our dangerous world. We can accept evacuation to safer planets if they offer it. Or we can prepare for the possibility that some alien factions might see us as too dangerous to leave alive. The meeting continued for hours, but one thing became clear. Humanity's first contact with galactic civilization had not gone as anyone expected. Earth's status as a death world was about to change everything, and no one knew if that change would save humanity or destroy it. In space above Earth, Commander Zethka received new orders from the Galactic Council. Commander, you are ordered to establish a research station in the Sol system. Do not allow any humans to leave their planet until the Council decides what to do with them. We are classifying Earth as Class 13 Death World and its inhabitants as potentially dangerous to galactic civilization. Zethka looked down at the beautiful blue world below and wondered if they were making the right choice. The humans seemed friendly and peaceful, but their casual acceptance of deadly conditions suggested they might be the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever encountered. The silver ship moved through space like a giant needle threading through black cloth. Commander Zethka stood on the bridge watching the yellow star grow bigger on the screen. His blue skin showed the worry lines that came with 30 years of deep space missions. This was supposed to be a simple job, just another planet to check and catalog for the Galactic Council. Commander, we are getting close to the 3rd planet, said his science officer, Dr. Velthar. The tall alien had 6 arms and used all of them to work the control panels. Initial scans show something very strange. Zethka walked over to look at the readings. His large black eyes grew even wider as he read the numbers. This cannot be right. Check the equipment again. Dr. Velthar ran the scans 3 more times. Each time the results stayed the same. Sir, the atmosphere is 21% oxygen. That level would kill most known species in minutes. The gravity is almost twice what we consider safe. The weather patterns show massive storms that could level entire cities. The bridge crew gathered around the main display. They came from 12 different worlds, each representing a member species of the Galactic Council. All of them stared in shock at the readings from the blue and green planet below. Look at this, whispered the communications officer, Kirindal. Her purple skin had turned almost white with fear. I am picking up radio signals. There are intelligent beings down there. The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. No intelligent species could survive on a world this dangerous. It was impossible. The most hostile planet that had ever produced intelligent life was classified as Class 8. This planet would need a completely new classification. Commander, Zethka made a decision that would change the galaxy forever. Send a message to the surface. Use the standard first contact protocols. If there really are intelligent beings down there, we need to talk to them. High above Earth, Captain Jake Morrison floated in the International Space Station. He was checking the solar panels when his radio came to life with sounds he had never heard before. The strange clicking and musical tones made no sense, but they were clearly trying to communicate. "Lisa, are you hearing this?" he called to his partner. Communications Officer Lisa Chang was working in the main module when the transmission started. "Jake, this is not coming from Earth," she said, her voice full of excitement. "The signal is coming from outside our solar system. This is first contact." Lisa worked fast to decode the alien message. Her computer programs found patterns in the strange sounds. After 2 hours of work, she managed to create a basic translation system. The message was simple but shocking. "Greetings to the intelligent beings of the third planet. We are peaceful explorers from the Galactic Council. We wish to establish contact and learn about your species. Please respond if you can understand this message." Jake floated next to Lisa as she prepared Earth's first message to alien visitors. Neither of them knew they were about to terrify an entire galactic civilization. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the Earth Vessel International Space Station. We welcome you to our solar system. We are human beings and we live on the planet you call the third planet. We call it Earth. We are peaceful and wish to learn about you as well." The response from the alien ship came quickly. The translation was rough but clear enough to understand. "Captain Morrison, we are surprised to find intelligent life on your world. Our scans show your planet has extreme conditions. How do your people survive such a hostile environment?" Jake looked confused. "Hostile environment? Earth is pretty normal as far as we know. Sure, we get some bad storms and earthquakes now and then, but humans have always lived here. What seems hostile about it?" Aboard the Meridian, Commander Zethka nearly fell over when he heard the human response. The creature called its Deathworld normal. He looked at Dr. Velthar, who was studying the planet's surface with growing horror. "Commander, I am reading massive electrical storms in their atmosphere. Lightning bolts that carry enough energy to power our ship for a week. The humans live directly under these energy weapons from the sky and call them normal." "What else?" Zethka asked, though he was afraid to hear the answer. "Their oceans contain creatures larger than our entire ship, giant predators with teeth the size of a person. The surface temperature changes by 40 degrees between their seasons. They have moving sections of their planet's crust that cause the ground to shake and split open." Dr. Velthar's voice got quieter as he read more data. "Sir, they have active volcanoes that shoot molten rock into the sky. Frozen regions where the temperature would kill us in seconds. Desert areas where no water exists for thousands of miles." The bridge crew listened in growing fear. This was not just a hostile world. This was a nightmare planet that should have killed any intelligent species long before they developed technology. Captain Morrison's voice came through the speakers again. "We would like to invite some of your people to visit Earth. We can show you around and explain how we live here. Maybe we can learn about your worlds too." Commander Zethka felt his legs go weak. The human wanted to invite them down to that hell world. The creature probably did not even realize it was asking them to commit suicide. "Captain Morrison," he said carefully, "we appreciate your invitation. However, our species may not be able to survive in your environment. Perhaps we could meet in space instead." "Oh, sure, no problem," Jake replied. "I forget that different species might need different conditions. What kind of environment do you need? We can probably set up something that works for both of us." The casual way the human talked about adjusting environments for other species shocked the aliens. On civilized worlds, changing environmental conditions required massive planning and years of work. This creature spoke like it was as simple as changing clothes. Dr. Velthar ran more detailed scans of the human space station. "Commander, their space station is tiny. It has no weapons, no shields, no defensive systems at all. Yet they built it and live in it in the vacuum of space like it is nothing to them. Sir," added the weapons officer Drakon, "I am detecting thousands of artificial objects orbiting their planet. They have completely filled the space around their world with machines and structures. They treat the deadly vacuum of space like we treat a garden path." Commander Zethka made a decision that would echo through galactic history. He opened a secure channel to Galactic Council headquarters. This is Commander Zethka reporting from the Sol system. We have discovered an intelligent species living on what appears to be a Class 13 Deathworld, requesting immediate Council review and new classification protocols. The species calls themselves humans, and they appear to have not only survived, but mastered their impossible environment. The reply from headquarters was immediate. Commander, Class 13 classification does not exist. No species can survive conditions that extreme. Zethka looked at the peaceful blue world below and the cheerful human voices coming through his speakers. Council headquarters, I am requesting permission to create Class 13 classification. What we have found here changes everything we thought we knew about life in the galaxy. The great celebration on Nexus Prime lasted for 3 days, but the real work began when the parties ended. Fleet Admiral Chris Morgan stood in his new office looking out at the mixed fleet of human and alien ships that now protected galactic civilization. 6 months after the defeat of the Void Seekers, the galaxy was learning to live with its new guardians. Admiral Morgan, announced his aide, Lieutenant Commander Patricia Bell. The Altarian Training Academy is ready for inspection. They want to show you what their recruits have learned from our instructors. Chris smiled as he remembered the early days of human military advisors trying to teach alien soldiers how to think for themselves. It had been like teaching fish to walk on land. But gradually the alien military had adapted to human methods. The flight to Altarius Prime took 2 hours in the new hybrid ships that combined human engineering with alien technology. The aliens had faster engines and better shields, but human ships were built to keep working when everything went wrong. The combination created vessels that were both advanced and reliable. Instructor Julie Stevens met them at the Academy landing pad. She had been one of the first humans assigned to train alien forces, and the transformation in her students was remarkable. Admiral, you have to see this, Julie said excitedly. Yesterday we ran a simulation where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. 6 months ago, the alien cadets would have frozen up completely. Now watch what happens. The simulation involved a rescue mission where the rescue team's ship was damaged. Their communications failed, and they had to improvise new plans while under enemy fire. The mixed team of human and alien cadets worked together smoothly, adapting to each crisis as it developed. Cadet Velthon, Julie called to one of the alien students, explain your decision to abandon the original rescue plan. The young Altarian stood proudly. Instructor Stevens, when our primary systems failed, I assessed the tactical situation and determined that our backup plan would not work either. So I created a third plan using available resources and communicated it to my team using hand signals. Chris was impressed. 6 months ago, most alien military personnel would have waited for new orders from their commanders instead of making independent decisions. Cadet, what if your third plan had failed? Chris asked. Sir, then I would have created a fourth plan, Velthon replied confidently. Instructor Stevens taught us that the mission continues until you succeed, or until you are physically unable to continue. Giving up is not an option. The Academy tour continued with demonstrations of alien soldiers learning human combat medicine, tactical improvisation, and leadership under pressure. Most impressive was watching former enemies work together as integrated teams. At the Crystalline Collective Training Center, survival expert Nathan Gray was teaching the delicate crystal beings how to function when their advanced technology failed. The crystalline people had evolved in perfect environmental conditions and relied completely on their sophisticated machines for everything. Nathan, called one of his students, a being whose crystal body reflected light in beautiful patterns. What do we do if our environmental suits fail completely? Shardek, you do what humans have always done, Nathan replied. You adapt. Use whatever materials you can find to create basic protection. Work with your teammates to share resources. Most importantly, you keep moving toward your objective even when conditions are terrible. The demonstration that followed would have been impossible before human contact. Crystal beings who previously could not survive, outside their perfect cities, were now learning to operate in hostile environments using improvised equipment and determination. At the medical center on Serenitas Prime, combat medic Ross Clark was revolutionizing galactic healthcare by teaching alien healers to work under pressure. The pristine medical facilities now included trauma centers and emergency surgery suites that would have horrified the peaceful healers just months earlier. Dr. Siltha, Ross called to his former student, show the Admiral what you learned about emergency surgery. The alien healer who had once been shocked by the Concept of trauma medicine now demonstrated complex surgical procedures while alarms blared and lights flashed to simulate battlefield conditions. Admiral Morgan, Dr. Siltha explained while working. Dr. Clark taught us that medicine is not just about preventing problems. Sometimes you must fix problems after they occur, even when the conditions are far from ideal. The patient was another alien who had volunteered for the training exercise. Ross had taught the galactic medical community that practice with realistic scenarios was essential for developing real-world skills. Dr. Clark, the patient asked after the exercise, will galactic medicine ever return to the peaceful ways we used before? Ross considered the question carefully. Medicine should always prefer prevention over treatment, but now you are prepared for both. You can still maintain your peaceful medical practices, but when emergencies happen, you will be ready to save lives instead of losing them. The political transformation was equally dramatic. Ambassador Steve Parker and his team had spent months integrating human perspectives into galactic law and policy. The changes were controversial but necessary. The old system assumed that all problems could be solved through careful discussion and compromise. Steve explained to the Council of Ministers. That works well when everyone is reasonable and peaceful. But when you face enemies who want to destroy you, you need the ability to make quick decisions and take decisive action. The new galactic government included emergency powers that could be activated during crises, military commanders who could act independently when communications failed, and legal frameworks that recognized the difference between police work and warfare. Not everyone was happy with the changes. Some alien species struggled with the cultural shift from absolute pacifism to prepared defense. Dr. Emma Watson, serving as cultural liaison, worked constantly to help traditional galactic civilizations understand why the changes were necessary. Dr. Watson asked Senator Velkun during one of their regular meetings, how can we maintain our peaceful values while preparing for war? Senator, preparing for war is how you preserve peace, Emma replied. When potential enemies know you are strong enough to defend yourself, they are less likely to attack you. Strength prevents conflicts rather than causing them. The proof of this philosophy came when long-range sensors detected another group of raiders approaching galactic space. Instead of panic, the response was calm and confident. The new integrated fleet moved to intercept the threat, while civilian populations continued their normal activities. Admiral Jake Morrison, the former space station captain who had become Earth's first galactic admiral, led the response fleet. The raiders took one look at the mixed human-alien forces and decided to find easier targets somewhere else. Admiral Morrison asked his alien second-in-command, should we pursue the raiders? No, Jake replied. Our job is to defend galactic civilization, not to conquer other peoples. We showed strength and they chose to leave. That is the best possible outcome. The ceremony that officially recognized Earth's new status took place in the Great Dome of the Galactic Council. The plaque that had once warned about Earth as a dangerous Deathworld was replaced with a memorial that read, Earth Class 13, Deathworld, Forger of the Galaxy's Guardians. President Elizabeth Kane stood beside the memorial as thousands of beings from across the galaxy watched the ceremony. 6 months ago, you saw humanity as a threat because we were different from you. Today, we stand together as partners because those differences made us stronger when combined. Final scene that would be remembered. In galactic history happened in a small park on Nexus. Prime. Human children played, alongside young aliens while their parents worked, together on projects that neither species could have accomplished alone. Sergeant. Mary Collins watched her daughter play with a group of young Altarians while she discussed engineering problems with her alien colleagues. Pete, do you ever miss the old days when Earth was isolated? She asked her partner, Pete Kumar. Pete looked around at the mixed community they had helped build. Mary, I miss the simplicity of the old days sometimes. But look what we have accomplished together. The galaxy is stronger, safer, and more unified than it has ever been. Dr. Amanda Foster, now serving as director of the Interspecies Biology Institute, joined them with her daily report. The latest surveys show that integrated human-alien colonies are more successful than pure species settlements. Humans provide crisis management and adaptation skills, while aliens contribute advanced technology and peaceful conflict resolution. As the sun set over Nexus Prime, the mixed community settled in for another peaceful evening. But now their peace was protected by strength, their unity was built on diversity, and their future was secured by the lessons learned from Earth's Deathworld. In the deep space monitoring stations that ringed galactic civilization, mixed crews of humans and aliens watched the darkness beyond the rim. The sensors had detected signals that suggested the Void Seekers had been only the first of many threats from the space between galaxies. But for the first time in galactic history, the Watchers were not afraid. They had learned that strength and wisdom could coexist, that different species could become stronger together,